The program of the LdM Gallery closes this year with an exhibition whose main subject is how art can be a tool for resilience. The works featured here were created in a particular and stressful moment worldwide, and thus they reflect divergent thinking in times of difficulty. The works have been grouped in 4 different themes. The first group is acceptance. Here we can find images that express sorrow, anger, political unrest, and frustration. Looking at these images is an invitation to embrace those emotions, let them be, and accept them. Many have felt a renewed need to escape and reconnect with nature, and some pieces are the result of a reflection about the ability of nature to go on, yet sometimes we have experienced that our own life were momentarily frozen. The third group is fear. Here we find representation of snakes, death, or monsters, which had been ancestral formulas that mankind had been using to depict internal or external demons in our imagination. A quick walk around Florence, we can still see on historical buildings the depiction of small horrific creatures in cornices and gargoyles, and these representations of monsters have traditionally helped both to undermine the power of this fear as well as magically protect us. Finally, we have the subject of change of narrative. Here we can find paintings and drawings that help us escape from our own reality in order to return to it armed and stronger to negotiate with the new circumstances. We can all relate to these artworks because they represent the variety of human reactions in the psychological processes that we all have gone through in this difficult year. Resilience is not only about overcoming hardship, it also has the component of personal growing. In a moment of high uncertainty, we at least have material evidence that imagination and creativity go on, and on that we can rely.
My name is Faith England. I'm from Virginia, and I am studying with Maris and LdM, and I'm a double major. This piece is about the system in which we're living in and how I can create it. There is no conceptual freedom, and as well we had to follow restrictions due to COVID-19. So the whole point of this piece is to represent the world that we're living in now and still being able to create really good artwork and things that make us happy despite these restrictions.
Hi, my name is Luna Bloomberg. I'm from the Netherlands, and I made a woodcut called Mices, and I was inspired by a sculpture that makes very expressive sculptures, and I really like that idea, so I made that into a woodcut, and I made a painting called Abel Slain by Cain. It is a copy of a painting that is hanging in the Pitti Palace, and I really like the light and the foreshortening of the figure and the composition, so I decided to paint that, and I made a drawing of a model with drapery. And yeah, I really enjoyed making that because the thing I was most excited about with the drawing class was to paint or draw models. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that.
Hello, my name is Florien Hazenberg and I'm from the Netherlands. I'm 19 years old and I made this print in my printmaking class here at LdM. The theme I chose to portray was fragility of the world and us as humans. I depicted this with a poppy and a bee because a poppy is a very delicate flower and is a sign of the First World War. The bee is on the edge of going extinct, and they reminded me of the crisis we are facing today with COVID and climate change, because then we're faced with how fragile our lives are every day. I made the print on a small copper plate with etching and aqua tint. I mixed red and black ink to make a darker red and printed it on yellow Bible paper.
Hi, my name is Vilde. I'm from Norway. And my idea for the print The lino cut was the first one that we did, and I wanted to do something inspired by my childhood in Norway and at our cabin. And there were a lot of pine trees there, so that's why I decided to go for that, because it feels really Norwegian and like a very important part of my childhood. And I wanted to call it Journey just because it's kind of where it all started. And the woodcut, I also wanted to do something in the botany style, so I went for the pomegranates. And I wanted to call it Harvest, and I just feel like it's like a full circle, like the journey began in Norway and in my childhood, and then it's kind of ended here in Italy, and the pomegranate is kind of symbolic of that, and it's like the harvest of the journey that I've had so far. And for the ceramics, our assignment was to make something on fear, and I wanted to kind of focus on the more beautiful side of it and what has pulled me through my times of fear, because I've struggled a lot with anxiety for many years, and what really helped me get through it was like the love of the people around me. So that's what the two bowls are, and the black part of the bowl is kind of like symbolic of the fear, while the flowers are more symbolic of what pulls me through it. So it's like showcasing how I can like live with the fear because I have the love that I have around me. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Halcyon Schiller. I've been at Lorenzo de' Medici in Marist for 4 years now. I'm originally from the US. I'm studying art conservation, art history, and studio art here. The piece that I have in this exhibition is a portion of a copy of the masterpiece, a portrait of Leopoldo de' Medici by Jacopo Lugozzi in Pitti Palace. I chose to recreate this piece because of its very intricate detailing and beautiful colors. Being a conservation major, it's really important to me that I can capture the different character and attitude of different brushstrokes and colors and movements across the canvas. So recreating a piece like this was very interesting to look at and work on, and ultimately I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Hi, my name is Francesca Leggio. I'm a student at Marist College and I'm from the United States. For my color theory class, we were assigned to create a series of paintings inspired by a painting in the Uffizi Gallery, and I chose Checo Bravo's Armida. In the painting, you can see the woman Armida. She's wrapped in white fabric and she's reaching out, and there are a series of monsters surrounding her, and in my paintings I wanted to elaborate on that. So I chose to also represent a female figure wrapped in white fabric and a snake to represent the monsters in the image, but I wanted to do it in my own way. So I created an abstract and realistic series of images. For one of the paintings, the purpose was to create a harmonious composition. So I used red and green complementary colors to balance it out. And for the painting with the figure in it, I wanted to represent the high contrasts that are in Checo Bravo's paintings. So I used a dark background and brighter colors in the subject.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth DiMuccio, and I am a student here at LdM in Marist, Italy. I am in my 3rd year here. I am a double major for studio art and art history. The piece Self-Portrait was actually originally inspired by some experiences I had at some of my trips while I'm abroad. I'm very fascinated by the idea of color. I love color, and human figures has always been a huge subject in all of my art pieces. I created this piece